This moment, sir. It is good to see you.
Good to see you.
So, 2016. What is the word of the show from where you're sitting?
Let me think. All right, so this whole process starts in November, October, November. When you have a broad idea of what you're looking at, then our protocol is heavy-duty conversations, January, February, March, hundreds and hundreds of calls, sucking from the industry. What are they thinking? What do they want to talk about? And then you start to formulate in the March timeframe themes. You know, what are people talking about?
Right.
And that's the context that we use to build a program. Then we come here and we test and see if what we thought people want to talk about was correct.
Right.
Because we came to Silicon Valley in the January, February timeframe, we started to hear a whole different chorus of songs. We've been talking at this conference for 18 years about property management, lease administration, financial accounting. We'll talk about that topic forever.
Right.
On the smart building side, we left the parochial, building automation conversation long ago, and we're talking about open, integrated, next generation buildings. So that's a 15-year conversation. 6, 7 years ago, we got introduced to SMAC, social, mobile, analytics, and cloud. That did not come from within our industry. That came from outside tech.
Right.
That impacted everybody. So 7 years ago, you look at all of our sessions, and not only do we have to talk about the traditionals, now we got this new generation of stuff. And now we're doing two jobs, right? Because we can't avoid it. All these companies got to understand what a mobile application means to their operations or their tenants. And then this year, right around February, we started hearing about all this new goofy stuff.
What kind of new goofy stuff?
Or not analytics, artificial intelligence.
Sure, machine learning.
IoT.
Right.
Immersive reality, blockchain, autonomous vehicles.
3D printing.
3D printing. And the list doesn't go on too much further, but those 6 fundamental technologies that we talked in the general session, if you would have told me in November those were going to be our topics, I would have said, no. I'm watching those technologies. We hear about them.
Sure.
But when I started digging into those technologies, I said, this is not tomorrow. This is happening. Just because our industry isn't doing it doesn't mean it's not happening.
Right.
So, we talked to Kate Metz, and you start talking to all these companies. I learned about what happened in Korea with Go and how this computer beat Go. And I'm showing videos of people driving 70 miles an hour down the freeway, eating their lunch. And so all the things that we're walking around in our normal daily lives, yeah, maybe 5, 10 years from now, Silicon Valley is saying, no, it's today.
Right.
And it's not about the technology, it's about governance. So what I leave this conference with is we're always going to be talking about the fundamentals, the 15-year subjects, the 18-year subjects that we started with. SMAC's not going away, and now we all have to figure out how to embrace yet another generation of technologies that are bigger than any we've dealt with in a long time. If people think social and mobile and analytics and cloud were big, which they are, and they still are, this next generation, I think, has the potential for even more profound impacts.
What's the opportunity?
Well, before we talk about the opportunity, there's some negative, right? How much can we absorb?
Right.
Right? I mean, you're running a business, trying to keep the car driving, and you got to go change the oil while the car is driving. So I think we have some real serious challenges on trying to figure out who in the organization has the time, who has the responsibility, who has the flexibility to go and explore all these new things. Because if your day job is already filled up with 50, 60 hours, you don't have a budget to figure out these things, you don't have time to figure out these things, you don't have staff to figure out these things. So, and yet there are some companies who are devoting those resources. They got teams of 5, 10, 15, 20 people. So if I'm a company who's got a small staff and I'm kind of thinking about this stuff and I know my competition's out there got teams, I got to think about that. And so I think we do have some significant challenges. The technology, at least phases 1 and 2, they're here. That's here. So now it's an organizational question. Am I focusing on it? Do I think it's important? Do I have the budget and resources? And that's the biggest challenge. So the opportunities, there's going to be a group that get out ahead of the pack. It's like when you watch a race, you know, and everybody starts out at the same place, and then, you know, mile 10, you got 5 guys, you know, they're all tracking each other, and they're following behind, and they're keeping it. And then at one point, somebody, 1 or 2 of them just, they go. So I think you're going to see that in our industry. You're going to see the 2, 3 that are going to be at that pack. You're going to see the next group of, you know, 10 to 20, and then you're going to see the rest.
Right.
You know, and do they all finish the race? Yeah, but some will be at the front and some will be at the back. Yeah.
People this year especially, at least here at Conference Live, really talked quite vividly about how important Realcomm is to them as a recharging point, as an education point. To what do you attribute the success of this conference?
Well, we never started out to be in the conference business, right? We were interested in taking a very conservative, parochial industry that had a big impact on economies, our lives. I mean, we all work in buildings, shop in buildings. So, I mean, when you collectively look at all the aspects of commercial real estate, it's a massive component of GDP. I like big challenges, right? So I said, well, if I'm going to pick a career, I want to pick one where we can make a big difference, right? So I never thought we'd be in the conference business, but you know, you have phone calls, and you can either deliver software platforms or solutions. But I think when we finally figured it out was the industry needed a place to come and talk about this stuff. And if you sit in your office and you don't collaborate, you don't talk to people, your view becomes very narrow very quick. Even when you think you got it all figured out, you come here and you can get surprised in a split second.
Yeah.
Right? And so because we weren't started out to be this, that wasn't our only agenda, we really cared about what we were doing, I think you got a bunch of people who are really committed. And I think our commitment hopefully resonated with some people. And then the community. I mean, these people all have 4 jobs, and they agree to be our advisors, and they agree to sit on panels. I just finished one, you know, it's the last day, last session, the room was packed.
Wow.
Right? And there are people who, you know, would much rather be home with their families or golfing, and are still helping us because their interest goes beyond themselves or their company. This is a career for them, right? And so if you've chosen this as your career, you want to know that you did well, your company did well, but that your industry is doing well. And I just think after 18 years, people, you know, buy into that because it's legitimate. I think it's authentic. So
it's going to be a year before we are next at Realcomm 2017. People go off into their worlds. They make the difference they're going to make. What's your message to them to tide them over till we get to see them again next year?
So in the CIO Roundtable, we did a survey. And we introduced all these crazy new technologies, you know, that I didn't think were as close as that. In fact, I don't feel so bad because after that Google platform, AI platform, beat that Go champion, Elon Musk said, "Holy cow," he used other words, "I didn't expect this for 10 years. And Elon Musk is one of the smartest guys on the planet.
Yeah.
Okay. So for him to be surprised, I don't feel so bad that I was surprised. But in the CIO Roundtable, we did a survey, and we said, when do you expect this technology to impact your automation strategy? And it was, I'm already doing it, 1 to 2 years, 2 to 5 or whatever, and then 5 plus, and the last one was never. And there were a reasonable number of people that said never. And there were some of us who looked in the room and, wow. I mean, I get 5 to 6, 7 years, maybe, not before I retire, but never is a dangerous word. And all I would say is to those people or anybody, and not here, because if they're here, they're more likely to be thinking it, but all those other people at other conferences and stuff, you gotta pay attention to this stuff. And if you don't think technology and all this innovation is going to impact your business, it has in the last 18 years, and I think it's going to get faster. And that separation of the pack is going to happen faster. And people who've been cultivated here, have created a community here, collaborated here, they're at a much better advantage. And if you come into this stuff cold now, so the advice to people in this room and our community is just keep on going. I think we're doing great. and you are leading the change. And for those who aren't as engaged, jump in as quickly as possible because it gets harder the further down the road you go.
That's right.
So,
Well, that's it, folks. Any last words to our
thank
viewers?
you. Thanks to our team. Thanks to everybody who came. It's been a wild 4 days, and we 5 days. It's not over.
Oh, you're doing tours tomorrow.
Yeah, we thought we would add some tours to this, and we got 10 tours, I think, tomorrow. And I expected 40, 50, maybe 60 people. I think we're over 150. So 150 people have stayed now 4 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And I'm amazed.
Well, it's the kind of loyalty that this conference brings. Thank you for providing a great experience for so many of us. And I guess we'll see you all next year at Realcomm 2017. Thank you very much.
Thank
Good night,
you.
everyone. Bye-bye.
Another great year.